This is Lena with Especially Made for Me. I hope you are able to hear and see me okay, because this is my second attempt again. Evidently there's been an update on YouTube and our stream key keeps getting changed. Even though I don't have it set up as a variable, it keeps going back to variable. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking to you in another language. It's just getting a little frustrating for me, and I'm sorry. I hope it's not frustrating to you and you're just joining us. We're just about a couple of minutes in. So thanks again for joining. We're going to be working on a wreath today, and we're going to be doing a bee theme wreath. So kind of between spring, summer, maybe more summer than spring. But just wanted to do a little, something a little bit different and kind of going back to more of the basics. So if we have any beginners out there that are watching today, this is definitely a good video to watch, because I'm going to be going by the steps and starting with one of our more easy methods of doing wreaths, which is our poof method. So we're going to be doing that and using a 21-inch roll of mesh. And we're not going to be doing too much mixing. We might add a little bit of color with another mesh depending on how we like the look, because we have a few different ribbons that we will be using. And I already started cutting the ribbons. We have a beige one, so you can see the little bees kind of going around. And we have, of course, some yellow, but I want to show you the sign we'll be using. Sweet bee. And it's got these little honeycomb things around the edge. And I had actually was hoping that my husband would have had the time to do the little holes for me, so that we can go ahead and add it and be nice and straight for you. But we'll just make believe we have it attached to the wreath by the time we're done. But basically the little holes will be going like right at the edge of the corners here, so that we can pull back onto the wreath. So we'll do 4 little holes, and then we'll attach it with wire. And if you watched any of my other tutorials before, for signs, I love using this silver, let me put this back away, wire. And it's I'll kind of read it from here. It's the Wire brand, and it's a 26 gauge, silver colored. It's looks like it might be very thin, which in a way it is, but it's strong enough to hold the signs, and you can pull on it, tie on it, and you really cannot see it once it's on your wreath. So that's why I love this one. You can use the green ones or any colors, you know, other colors to match, but if you want to make sure it's not all that visible at all, I would definitely recommend that one. So ribbons are being cut at 12 inches, and I have this other honeycomb ribbon here to kind of match, you know, kind of go along that theme on the edge of our sign. And then of course we have the bees, because we gotta have the bees. We have we might use some of the polka dot yellow and white ribbon, which we also have. I'm still undecided, since we already have some of this yellow, and we might add the black ribbon as well, but I want to try and keep it as simple as possible. Let me go ahead and if you're here, let me know that you're out there. Just by way of comment, let me know maybe your first name and where you're watching from, just to kind of get the communications going. And what I'm doing here, I've already counted my stems. So for my beginners out there, we would want to make sure that you count the stems on your wreath form. I'm using a golden type metallic wreath form, and it's got 10 stems on the outer rim and 6 on the inner. So that's what I'm using for cutting my ribbons. And then you select, if you're going to have 3 ribbons, you select which one is going to be your main ribbon, and that one you cut to make sure you have enough for all inner and outer rims. And then your others, you would do half of each if you have the other, you know, to the 2 others, because then you'll be alternating those, so you won't need as many. Okay, so we'll see. We may have to do some alternating here. Just from what I counted, I thought it would give me enough to go all the way around. Let's see if I didn't miscount. think we'll be okay. Missing 2 maybe. There's 7 on this side. Okay, and that was what we call dovetailing. Hi, Miss Monica, how are you? I'll show that again, just to do that dovetailing, which is folded in half. And we're gonna go from our folded center to our edge here on the corner. And I'm sorry, I meant to change the view, and you're not seeing what I'm doing. Please forgive me. Okay, here we go. Now you can see what I have here on the table. Okay. Move my phone out of the way. Okay, so I'm folding the ribbon in half. Okay, and your folded edge is where you're going to be starting to cut, and you're going to go towards that corner diagonally to make that dovetail. And these are kind of like a canvas type ribbon, so they're very thick and they are wired. I always recommend using wired ribbon because they're easier to shape. Let's see. So we may need to do 8 on that. I think I still need to cut more of this one. Yep, we have 8 of that one. Okay, so I'm cutting these again at 12 inches. Just want to make sure we have them ready to go for when we put our mesh down. And the way to know how many pieces you'll need, again, is just to count those stems. Okay. So we'll have some left. Maybe if we would want to do a ribbon, we may have enough to do a ribbon. I mean a bow. I'm all tongue twisted today. It's just been one of those days. Forgive me, y'all. Now I'm undecided on using more black, or if I want to add this other one here that's more of a tan. So I'm undecided. I'm thinking either one will go, of course. This one is more of a sheer though. So together with the other, it wouldn't be seen too much. So it's not gonna be like too much black, basically is what I'm trying to say if we use this one. So I might go with that. It is still wired, so that'll help us with the shaping as well. Okay, just doing half of these since we'll be alternating with our honeycomb ribbon. I'm gonna go ahead and put that sign back in focus so you can see, hopefully you get to see what we're using and why I'm using a honeycomb ribbon in the bead. Okay. I'm still thinking I want that other ribbon too. I can't make up my mind. We'll decide as we go. We have enough cut, so we're gonna go ahead and start putting our mesh on. So our sign says sweet as can be. And I mentioned earlier, I meant to have the little holes drilled on the corner so we can go ahead and attach it, and I forgot to do that. So I may just make it look like it's attached once we're done, and do that off camera. But I'll try to remember to take a picture of it fully done and repost it so that you can see it. It's time to empty out my trash. It's getting harder to put stuff in there. Oops. Okay, I'm going to take this out of the way here. And we're just going to make poops. We're going to do what I mentioned is our easiest method, I think, for doing a wreath. So for the beginners out there, this is basically what we call a poof method. And I'm just gathering the mesh. You could gather it straight from here and just gather it as a, what we will call a ruffle, or you could just grab it together and do it this way. Or you could do what I was doing, just to kind of get the ends together and then gather in the middle, and then you'll be able to grab it from there. How you do it doesn't matter, we just need to gather the ends. Okay? So one thing I like to do, I'd like to try to start with there is a crossbar and attach my mesh to that, just to kind of keep it more secure. And I use a zip tie to attach it. Okay, so all we're going to do is just go to that crossbar. We're going to just tie it on there. We're going to push it down so it won't be sticking out. And then we're going to cut off that excess. And we can push that in so it'll be out of the way. Okay, for our poofs, I'm going to make these bigger than usual. Normally we do anywhere from 5 to maybe 7 or 8 inches. I'm going to go about 10 inches because I want this to be much bigger. So you can use, if you have one of these, you can use these for your measurement, or you can eyeball it. If I go it from here, this tells me if I'm the 14 to the 24, I've got the 10 inches. So you could kind of look at it, and that way you could eyeball it from then on. So that's another way to do that. Okay. Go a little bit bigger there. Okay, and to tie it, you're just going to go with your stems in opposite directions and pull and then twist. I like to open up my poofs as much as possible. That gives more coverage. And we're going to do that all the way around. Do the same thing. And I thought about using this color of wreath form because I thought, you know, I know most of the wreaths that we see with bees have a lot of yellow and, you know, the polka dots and different things. And I just kept thinking, you know, the honey is not yellow. So I thought, let me do something different and see how it's going to look. So that's what we're doing. And I thought with that sign, I think it will go very well. And if you don't have one of these mesh rollers, it's not absolutely necessary. It just makes the job easier, especially if you make a lot of wreaths. When I started, and I think I say that pretty much at every video, I just used a box that the mesh roll fit in, or like a trash bag. And I made sure that the roll was in there, and I just pulled while it was in there. So that kind of, you know, kept it so that it can still roll but not be on the floor or get dirty. So that helped a lot too. So you can definitely do that as you're starting out. If you do want to get one, I think I have the link, one of my affiliate links, on the description of the video. Might get a couple of pennies if you do. Make sure I don't grab the inner. I've done that before. Grab the stem from the inner, if they're all sticking together. Forgot to turn on the little fan that I have in here, and I am really hot. I don't know why this room doesn't get much air. It's got the vent right there, so I should be able to feel it. Okay, we're at the end. Just one more. And we can start on the inner rim. Okay, so this is where we started, where we did the beginning of our mesh roll with the zip tie. And again, just opening up our poof. Sometimes they open by themselves, sometimes they don't. Okay, and now we're going to work our way over to our inner. So this here, since we already have our poof, it's just going to cover this part here as we move on over. So we'll need maybe another inch or so, excuse me, so that we can come across and the poof still be the same size, and it basically goes right on over. Making sure I'm pulling my stem so I'll be able to see it later. And now we do the same process on our inner rim. So anyone out there celebrating we're going to the Mardi Gras parade or anything like that. I think Mardi Gras is this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. For those that celebrate and get involved with the parades and different things. Okay, almost there. So when we do it this way, it's just kind of giving it a couple of more inches and opening up the poof. It definitely fills it up. And we're at the end. So it goes pretty quickly when we do the poof method. What I like to do here, since it's a little bit thicker, so we already have mesh there, I untwist it and then twist it back up together so we can save on some of that stem because we still have our ribbons to put up. Okay, from here we're just gonna cut, and we're gonna go a few inches away from where we're at. So just kind of pull up a little bit. You don't want to cut it too short, so you'll be able to guide it to the back. Just roll this out of the way here. You'll probably make another wreath with what's left on your roll if you're doing it this way. Okay, we're just gonna push this in between our rims so we can push it back. And we'll be timing it the way that we did. We should be right at another crossbar so that we can tie this off again. And there we have one, and we have another, so we can pick which way we want to tie it. I don't want a small one. There we go. You can, if you have one of these that's got the double wiring, you can do it through there as well. It's just a matter of keeping it to make sure it doesn't roll and that it stays tied on. So I'm going to run it through the middle of those two. Again, this is just for extra security in case anything was to come loose. Aw, no worries. Glad you're back. Thank you. Okay, so we make sure it's nice and tight, and we're going to cut off the excess just like we did at the beginning. And then if you feel this is just a little too frayed, you could cut a little bit off. Just make sure that you have at least about an inch. In case it gets pulled, you don't want it to get pulled away through your zip tie. Okay, so there is our frame, our base, all by itself. So it's nice and full. You don't see any of the wreath form, which is what I like. I want to make sure it's nice and full. So this is what we call a base. So from here you can leave it as is if you match your stems, and if you're doing this as a side to kind of earn some money and want to sell something inexpensive, you can leave it pretty basic and just kind of use your stems as decoration. Or you can add the ribbons or add the sign or make a bow. You can kind of go from there. But this is what we call a base wreath. So from here we're going to start adding our ribbons. And we're going to be using our B1 as our main ribbon. And then we'll be alternating between our honeycomb and the black. Okay, and all I normally do is just kind of put one on top of the other. And I just fold it where the edges are meeting so that way I can see where my middle is at. And then you just scrunch it. You could do it right here on your hands, on your finger, or you could roll it from here on the table. If you run your fingers right under it, like so, it gives it that curl. So you already have a curl before you put it on your wreath, like a little birdie. Or you could do that once you have it on. Okay, and all we do is just kind of right where that middle is at, we go to the stem and lay it down and then give it a twist. If you're not going to be putting on any embellishments afterwards and you're not going to glue anything on, you can cut your excess stem or you can fold it in. Or if you want to add any styrofoam flower vase fillers, which I use pretty often, you could put those at the end of your stem and not have to cut them, and that just gives your wreath a little bit more oomph. Okay, I'm just spreading my ribbons so we have the colors spread out. Okay, doing the same thing here. We're just going to do the same thing throughout the whole wreath. Just alternating ribbons. When I was thinking about what colors to use for this one, I kept thinking, you know, just as I mentioned earlier, just the nature, I guess, of the bee. We do have normally on most wreaths out there, we tend to use a lot of the yellow and the polka dots and everything else. And I kept thinking, well, in their natural habitat, where they normally make their own honeycombs, it's not yellow. It's got that tan color, and the honey is not yellow. It's so that's why I'm kind of selecting some of these colors. And then I looked at the sign and I thought, okay, we're gonna match that in the sign, kind of put it together and just do something a little different. This is the other way that I mentioned that you could put your ribbons one on top of the other. And once you know where your middle is at, you can scrunch it here on the table and then put it down. Just in case we have any beginners watching the replay later. And what I do with the ribbons, I alternate them as well as to going up or down, just to make sure that we don't have the same ribbon here. So they'll all be spread out. You could do the crisscross method like I do, and I'll show you on the next set another option. Okay, little twists. Okay, so I mentioned on the other option, what you can do is have the same ribbon going up and the same ribbon going down. So that's an option. Or you could alternate like I did here, kind of do the crisscross to spread the colors out. Or you can do the two on top, two on the bottom, and then you could alternate which one you have on the top and which one you have on the bottom as you go. You can also have them all going down. Another reason why I like the wire ribbons. So they're all still kind of together coming down, or you can have them all going up and then still alternate your colors up or down. I just, my preferred method is crisscrossing them, so that way we can always have the colors throughout. And I'm just tucking these under for now. I'm also alternating which one I put on top and which one I put on the bottom when I do this. Again, that is just to kind of spread the variety of the colors throughout the wreath. I did something. I did. See, it was easier to tell. I think for some reason I'm thinking I'm kind of messed up on the crisscross somewhere. We'll see. I'm not seeing that much yellow coming around. I'm always putting the black one, since it's a sheer black, on the top, so it won't be too hidden. Ah, glad you like them. The bees are so tiny. They're very cute. On this is kind of, let's see if I can, like the little bees. Okay, one more and we can move on to the top or inner rim. Oh, really? They had, where was it that I got these? I want to say, originally I got the 1 inch, 1.5 inch. I think it was at Hobby Lobby. And then I saw, I was looking for ribbons one day and I checked online with my vendor. And they also had that small one, but they had the 2.5 inch as well. And I went ahead and grabbed some. It's like, hey, these are kind of different. I like getting things that are a little bit different. There we go. So that's how it looks so far. And we still got to do our inner. Okay. I wish I wouldn't have forgotten to ask my hubby to help me drill that, since he usually gets home before I do, for the little holes on the do it this way. Yeah, either way. For the sign. So we won't be able to attach that. But we'll make believe. And I'll do it afterwards and take a picture and update the thumbnail on the video so you'll be able to see it on that. Okay, so here you can kind of see with me doing the alternating, it also helps so that you won't have the same one together here, so you can still spread the color. So that's another reason why I kind of spread them out. Sometimes it works, sometimes you have two of them together, but it's still, with spreading it out, you have that the different color spread, so it still looks good. Okay, almost there. Two more to go. There you go, didn't work on that one. Last one, we'll be able to take a look at it and make believe we're attaching our sign. But this method is fairly quick and easy, doesn't take long when we do the poof method, because we're not having to do any cutting other than our ribbons or streamers, or some call it. Hi, Miss Hyla. How are you? I enjoyed your video the other day with all the tips on organizing. All right, here we go. So a little different than the typical bee sign. Not a whole lot of yellow and black and white, but we have more of that tan natural color from their actual natural habitat in the little bees. And we have our honeycomb, which matches our sign. And this is where I thought of putting the sun, just kind of working it in the middle. Sweet as can be. Just didn't get to drill the holes. Forgot to get that taken care of. I apologize for that. But I would use, once we have the little holes I mentioned earlier in the video, just doing them right at the corner here on each side. So we'll be able to pull back once we run the wire towards the back, and it won't be seen. And in using this this wire, it's 26 gauge. It's the silver. See, you even on the camera, you really can't see it if you were to run the sign, but I promise it's there. There we go. You can kind of see the sparkling of it. But that's why I like using this for my signs. Yes, it is for me as well. I've tried reorganizing this craft room a few times. And I always think, like, okay, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. It just kind of gets out of control sometimes. But we'll find a way. We just got to keep at it. Oh, glad you liked the sign. I thought it was cute with Winnie the Pooh. Sweet as can be. So that is it. Just a quick and easy project today using the poof method. So I hope you enjoyed. So glad you were able to join me. Let's see if I think it looks pretty. You can pretty much see the whole thing there. So I won't change the camera view just so that you'll be able to see the wreath. But let me know if any questions on anything. The ribbons again were cut at 12 inches. These are canvas ribbons with the exception of the black ones. The black one is a sheer. It's still wired, but it's a sheer ribbon because I didn't want it to be like too much black, but just wanted to add a third ribbon. Oh, thank you. Glad you like it as well. Thank you, Miss Hyla. Awesome. Well, until next time, again, don't forget, if you have a YouTube channel, let me know. And I'll try to get on there. Go ahead and subscribe to your channel as well. I know I've done it already with Miss Hyla. Same thing for Pinterest and pretty much everywhere I see it. I see that H. Cooper Crafty Bug. So let me know if you have anything out there. Also, Miss Monica, I'll do the same. And then just don't forget, thumbs up while you're here. And any comments or questions that may come up, let me know. And I'll be sure to answer those comments as we go along, because I do check them periodically. But in the meantime, until next time, do stay safe, keep creating, and stay liquid. There's a lot going on out there, so we gotta be flexible. So stay safe, y'all. We'll see each other or be here again on Friday next week at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you take care. Bye-bye.